We occasionally get questions about how to complete distribution forms for the pension account. This YouTube video is designed to help you avoid some common mistakes that are made in filling out the forms. It is not meant to summarize the terms of the plan, just to answer some questions you may have. You can pause or replay parts of the video as we go along by clicking the timeline at the bottom of the screen. You must complete 2 forms to receive a lump sum distribution and 4 forms to receive your pension as a monthly annuity payment. Let's start with the election form. Please complete Section 1 of this form and check your marital status in Section 2. You'll note 7 options on the election form: 1 lump sum payment option, 5 annuity payment options, and 1 option to defer receipt of your pension until a later date. If you choose the lump sum option, you will receive your full pension in the form of a check made payable to you, a rollover, or a combination of the two. We'll talk more about that when we cover page 2 of the election form. If you wish to receive your payment in the form of an annuity and are married, you can choose between 5 payment options: single life annuity, which means your benefit will end upon your death, and 4 joint and survivor annuities, which means that if you die before your spouse, they will receive a percentage of the benefit you elected upon your death. But note that if your spouse predeceases you, your benefit will not change upon your spouse's death. By the way, your spouse is defined as the spouse you are married to at the time of commencement, which may not be the spouse you are married to at the time of your death. If you are single, the only annuity form of payment you can receive is a single life annuity, because the only eligible beneficiary you can have for pension annuity payments is a spouse. Now let's turn to Section 3 on page 2. This portion of the form allows you to tell us how you want to receive your pension if you have elected a lump sum payment, a cash distribution, which means that the check is made payable to you, a rollover of the entire payment, or a combination of the two. If you wish to receive it in the form of a cash distribution, a check will be mailed directly to you minus 20% withholding for federal taxes. If you wish to roll over your pension, you'll need to complete the Rollover Plan or Institution section of this page to tell us how a check should be made payable. For example, XYZ Investment Company for business of Jane Doe, or XYZ Investment Company, account number 01010. There is no tax withholding for a rollover at the point of distribution unless you choose to roll it over to a Roth IRA and direct us to withhold taxes at that time. If that is the case, you'll need to fill in the box at the bottom of the form. Whether you're married or single, it's important to remember that once your distribution is processed, whether that is a lump sum or an annuity, your election is final and cannot be changed. Make sure to review the special tax notice enclosed in your package. It provides important information about the taxability of lump sum distributions. Now let's turn to Section 4 on page 3. Please read Section 4, Sign and Date. We now move to Section 5, Spousal Consent. If you are married and have elected any one of the joint and survivor annuity options on the election form as we discussed earlier, this section does not need to be completed. However, if you are married and you elect a lump sum distribution or single life annuity, then your spouse must acknowledge in this section that upon your death, no further benefit will be paid to him or her. This section needs to be signed by your spouse in the presence of a notary. Your spouse's signature date and the notarization date must be the same, otherwise the consent is invalid and the commencement of your benefits will be delayed. Our second form is the waiver of 30-day notice. By law, we must give you 30 days to review the information in your package before we can commence your benefits. The 30-day period begins on the date you receive your forms. Most packages automatically meet this time frame, and if this is the case with yours, then you can check either choice on the waiver form, and we will begin processing your information once we've received your completed election package. However, if in your case there are fewer than 30 days between the date you receive the package and your desired distribution date, your distribution will be delayed unless you elect to waive your right to the 30-day period using this waiver form. If you're still unsure about this requirement, read the portion of the form at the bottom that begins, "What does it mean?" Now let's look at the combined federal and state tax election form. This form only needs to be completed if you've elected an annuity form of payment. This is the form on which you indicate your withholding elections for both federal and state taxes, and the state for your tax withholdings. In some circumstances, your current address and your tax withholding state may not be the same. For example, you may be living with a relative to provide care for an extended period of time. That's why you need to clarify this information. And it's a lot simpler to do that now versus trying to correct it immediately before filing your taxes. There are spaces on this form for you to choose no withholding, a flat dollar amount to be withheld from each payment, or withholding based on marital status and number of exemptions. A common mistake people make is to put a percentage in the flat dollar amount space. We need the actual dollar amount, otherwise the form is invalid. There are two additional points to consider if you elect withholding based on your marital status and exemptions. 1. You are subject to the IRS tax table withholding amounts which can and do change periodically. And 2. You can add a flat amount to be deducted in addition to the tax table withholding amount by filling in the additional amount blank. If you reside in Connecticut or Arizona, you will be provided an additional form specifically for your state, as the tax structures are unique in those particular states. You can go to the IRS website at irs.gov for more information on these points. The fourth and final form in your package is a direct deposit form, which you will need to complete only if you've elected an annuity form of payment. Please complete and return all forms, as well as the required documents listed on the first page of the letter in your package, or we won't be able to process your election. It's important that we receive these by the deadline in the letter. The deadline is in a bold box on the first page of your letter. If you still have questions related to the forms, please contact the person whose name and phone number are provided in your letter. Thank you.